he has been side by side with Hoffa for a long time. Let's see. What year is it? I would go back to 2007, 8. I'll find out for you and get back to you. But I know it's been a long time. And I don't want anybody to get the opinion as I go through this that I have a bad opinion of Sean O'Brien. I think Sean O'Brien, from my experience, has been a good Teamster leader. So I'll be upfront too and tell you that being part of TDU is kind of a deal killer for me, but maybe not for somebody else because, these people don't have the members' best interest at heart. So getting back to the statement, Hoffa's political machine works 365 days a year. And while he preaches a gospel of unity and solidarity, he does nothing to heal the divisions in our union. Fred and I are dedicated to holding his feet to the fire until we can reclaim the union for the membership, O'Brien said. Well, if they work 365 days a year, they need a Teamster contract. And I would be happy to bargain that contract for them. And as far as preaching a gospel of unity and solidarity, I have seen more graciousness and more kindness from incumbent Teamster officials towards, helping new TDU officials learn their job and be effective for their members and set politics aside in the best interest of the membership of these people than TDU has ever shown the other way. I mean, TDU has had nothing good to say about anybody that has supported Hoffa or that's supported this general executive board in their entire existence. And if you don't toe their line, you're corrupt. You're not worthy of being an official. You're only out for yourself, not for the membership. And to say that about what is 99% of the elected officials in the Teamsters is a fucking travesty. Excuse my language, but it's absurd and it's offensive. And every Teamster leader, every delegate, every officer is elected by the membership of their respective local unions. And for TDU to lump everybody in one bucket, call everybody corrupt, and say everybody's ineffective and everybody's out for themselves is offensive. And it's part of the reason why I'm doing this. So continuing on, back to the statement, and I told you it was a long statement. After spending a week at the Teamsters Unity Conference, an annual Hoffa pep rally with little substance, O'Brien and Zuckerman decided to show what real Teamster unity looked like. Okay, so they spent a week. Oh, man. Why did they write this? They spent a week at the Teamsters Unity Conference, and then they complained about it. It's like sending back an empty plate to the kitchen, saying that you didn't like your meal. But whatever. So getting back to a quote here by Zuckerman, Sean and I were on opposite sides of the fence in 2016, but through our work together on the UPS contract, we recognized we share the same goal, a stronger and active Teamsters union, Zuckerman said. We can't make that happen unless we come together. And I'm tired of the statement. I'm just going to get to the end. Teamsters United is about ending the politics of division in our union. We're about uniting local officers and the rank and file, old school Teamsters and union reformers, O'Brien said. We want everyone to have a seat at the table because united, we win. So that's the entire statement. I've kind of made my comments on it. It would have been nice. They could have probably done that same thing in about half the words. Would have been better for call it weak readers like myself. I'm more of an audio guy. But, that's the statement. To kind of sum it up, I guess it's that if I had to paraphrase the thing, somebody goes, hey, what did the statement say? And I said, well, it said that Hoffa fired me and I'm running with Fred and Teamsters United because I want to join with the one organization that has done more to divide the union than anybody, but I'm going to bring the union together. So that's my summary of the statement. And now I'll talk about TDU's joint statement, or they put it out just about the same time as Teamsters United. And TDU statement's a little different. It looks like they're trying to do a little good cop, bad cop. So it's funny, but TDU's trying to do like this whole, we don't really know Teamsters United, but boy, they're smart over there, and we like what they're doing. They're not with us. We don't know them. Never seen them before in my life. But let's get to the TDU statement, and then I'll break that down as we go. So this, boys and girls, is the TDU statement on Sean O'Brien - Fred Zuckerman announcement. It'd be nice to see who writes these things for a change. They used to post who writes them. And by the way, this is coming off of TDU's website. So that's the headline. And then here's the statement. And at least, God bless you, TDU. Your statement's about half the size of the other one. Thank you for that. Here's what it says. Sean O'Brien and Fred Zuckerman announced at a joint event in Boston on May 29th that they will be leading a slate in the...
CVS is helping you stay prepared this cold and flu season. This week, select Advil, Robitussin, and Dimetapp products are buy one, get one 50% off. Visit CVS or CVS.com today. Restrictions apply. See CVS.com/weekly ad for details.
2021 Teamster election, with O'Brien running as general president and Zuckerman running as general secretary treasurer. And then it shows a nice picture of the two of them that was also in the other statement. And Sean looks good. Got to give it to him. The surprise announcement has sparked discussion and debate among TDU members and Teamster United supporters. So the surprise announcement's a big surprise. Such a big surprise. I'm not surprised, actually. I had heard people talking about this for a while, and TDU seemed to be ready with their joint announcement. So it doesn't seem like they're surprised. But regardless, it sparked discussion and debate among TDU members and Teamsters United supporters, which, again, that's the whole TDU. We're not with them, Teamster United guys, but they're handsome. So I don't know. The debate, honestly, and before I get too far into the statement, what it looks like is I get a sense of regret of Zuckerman jumping in with the TDU guys, and he kind of wants to be a Teamster again. And so he's trying to, by bending the knee to O'Brien, maybe he feels like that's his way back. I don't know. Don't know Fred. Never worked with Fred. But maybe he wants to come home. I don't know. So to continue the statement, it says 3 years out, TDU is not making any endorsement for the 2021 IBT election. We will continue to work with Teamsters United on the UPS and UPS freight contract campaigns and other issues. Now that is the smartest thing I've heard, because honestly, 3 years is so freaking far away. And there are real problems coming up with the UPS and UPS freight contract. And I will get to that hopefully in the next episode, but there's shit to do. So why? Well, there's actually a reason why, because the timing of this whole announcement thing's fishy if you ask me, but I got a theory on that. But yeah, 3 years away is a long time. And so TDU is not endorsing anybody, right? Which we know that they're going to endorse them, but they're playing hard to get, which is good for them. Continuing on with the statement. Teamsters for a Democratic Union partnered with Fred Zuckerman and other Teamsters to build the Teamsters United Coalition, which came within a few thousand votes of defeating Hoffa in the IBT election in 2016. 6 international VPs on the Teamsters United slate were elected. Coincidentally, they're all TDU people. What a shocker. What a coincidence. But at least they admit that TDU admits that they started Teamsters United. And in fact, look for TDU to just totally change their name to Teamsters United here at some point. Because I think TDU's become so toxic within the union. They don't have many alternatives. So, but it's good. It's good to, if you want to change and move to a new town and change your name and try to do something different, good for them. They're trying to change their image. But continuing on, it says TDU urged Zuckerman to run for re-election as general president in 2021. So TDU urged Zuckerman to run for re-election as general president, but he didn't win it. But they want him to run for re-election as general president. I guess that should have been, they should have proofread this, but it should say TDU urged Zuckerman to run again for general president. But instead it says run for re-election as general president in 2021. But Zuckerman's not general president, so I don't know. We'll just keep on. I'm not going to get hung up with that. And it says Zuckerman opted to run for the number 2 position alongside O'Brien. In other words, he got out of the way for O'Brien, which, I don't know how that worked, but God bless them all. But I find it odd that TDU wouldn't endorse the guy they endorsed last time, but whatever. And then O'Brien and Zuckerman were opponents in 2016 when O'Brien ran on the Hoffa slate. As an international union vice president and joint council leader, O'Brien has been a critic of TDU and an opponent of Teamster reformers. So I'll read that again. As an international union vice president and joint council leader, O'Brien has been a critic of TDU and an opponent of Teamster reformers. So let's back up a little bit and unpack this. And O'Brien has been a critic of TDU, and this is going to be the audio that we're going to play in the next segment, which is O'Brien being a very strong critic of TDU, which makes all this the more weird. But I don't want to get hung up. In fact, I kind of want to get to that. So I'm just going to finish this statement out. And it says, following the 2016 election, O'Brien reached out to Teamsters United leaders to work together on UPS contract negotiations, the ABF contract, and other issues. I keep wanting to know who O'Brien reached out to, the other Teamster United leaders, because that's got to be Sylvester, because he's the other big dog of the Teamsters United campaign for TDU. So the international union election is in 2021, 3 years from now. The immediate tests ahead are the fights against contract givebacks at UPS and UPS Freight, and local elections where reformers are taking on Hoffa-aligned local officers. Amen to that. There's bigger fish to fry right now, no doubt about it. But again, that's getting back to the weird timing of this thing. I mean, I'm agreeing with them, and part of that sarcasm because I know they're insincere, but I'll get to the timing piece when I wrap up the podcast, and it might be part of the next one. Who knows? We will work with Teamsters United to pursue these goals, which is like working with your brother. TDU will make endorsements and IBT election plans at a later date. So there you go. That is the TDU. We don't know them over at Teamsters United. Never heard of them. This is TDU. You know, we never dated Teamsters United. We were drunk at a party, made out, but that's it. It's kind of funny pretending that they don't operate out of the same offices, and they don't have the same decision makers, and they don't have the same internet accounts for their websites, and that they don't share all the same information, and that they don't share donations. And it's cool, man. I like that they can, keep a straight face. Well, I guess when you don't have to face any members, it's easy, but keep a straight face to say that TDU and Teamsters United aren't the same thing. It's kind of like me saying, hey, that's the TDU show, and I'm Phil. I'm Phil. I'm not the TDU show, but I am, but I'm not. So that's the TDU statement. It's wild. It's crazy. So in a nutshell, the TDU statement is that it's a long time from the election. We're not making any endorsements. We don't really know those guys over there, but they're doing a great job. And we'll see, I guess. And that O'Brien's been a critic of TDU in the past, but that's in the past. I'll go back and read that line because I like it. And that is, as an international union vice president and joint council leader, O'Brien has been a critic of TDU and an opponent of Teamster reformers. How do you describe these people that hide behind the label reformer? Hey, I'll tell you what, your rank and file TDU guy is somebody that's got a beef, either with their local union or with their company, and they felt like they haven't been represented the way they should. All that may be true, but they're being used by Ken Paff, really, but by TDU to just divide the union. And, the net effect, right or wrong. And you know what? I don't want to knock all these guys because there's some really good people, mid-level, low-level TDU trying to do their best for members. And they're being used by these guys for their own political ends. And it ends up playing right into the hands of the anti-union consultants and union busters. It plays right into the hand of the companies that want to divide workers because they don't really have any answers to anything. All they do is like point fingers and bitch. It's no way to run a union. I can't help my members by pointing a finger at the company and bitching and not addressing real issues and not making a sober assessment of a situation and the best way to help these people because these contracts are called agreements for a reason, and it's where people agree. They're not called disagreements. And, TDU's kind of a one-trick pony. TDU's entire